Hi there, Gavin Gear here from Ultimate Reloader for Frankford Arsenal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a sizer die, and we're going to size some pistol brass. Before we get the press and die set up and size some cases, let's talk about the sizing and depriming process. And to roll things back even further, let's talk about what happens when we fire a cartridge in our handgun. When we fire that cartridge, the high pressure causes the brass to expand and it conforms to the dimensions of the firearm's chamber. When the pressure is reduced, it springs back, but it does not spring all the way back to where it should be. In order to have appropriate neck tension between the bullet and the case, and in order to ensure that our cartridge will chamber reliably, we need to squeeze the diameter back down to the appropriate specification, and in the process, a little spike, the decapping pin, is going to poke out the old primer. So that's the background on what's going to go on here. Now let's talk about getting the press set up. The specific parts and pieces we're going to need to get sizing and depriming set up are going to depend on what type of reloading press we're using. A single stage and turret press will require a shell holder, and a progressive press will require a shell plate. But in almost all cases, we're going to use a standard 7/8 diameter, 14 threads per inch sizer deprimer die, like what I've got here for 9mm Parabellum. The difference here is that we're using the Frankford Arsenal M press, and there's a couple differences. First, we don't need the standard lock ring because we're using these quick change die blocks. And second, we've got a built-in universal shell holder that is quickly switchable between calibers here, built right into the press. I'm using the 223 setting, and that works great for 9mm Parabellum. So we're going to snap in our die block and screw the die down in. This setup process is almost identical regardless of the type of press that you're using. You're going to lift the shell holder or shell plate up to the top position, or if you've got a tool head that goes down, it's going to go to the bottom position, and then continue to screw the die in until it touches the shell plate. At that point, you can tighten the set screw or the lock ring to preserve the position. Now we've got our die set up, we can quickly take this out of the press and we can reinstall it. Now we're ready to size and deprime cases. The process for sizing and depriming cases is very straightforward. If we wanted to, we could spray our cases with some case lube at this point. If we didn't have carbide dies, that would be necessary. In this case, I chose not to, because while it could make the press run a little bit smoother while we're sizing, it's one more thing to clean up. So each time we're going to take a case, we're going to cycle the press. I can feel the sizer go down over the case and reduce its diameter, and then I also heard the spent primer get poked out and fall into the collection tray. When we've set up a sizing die, we want to make sure that we use a case gauge and drop the case down in. It fell straight in and then sat flush with the back of the case gauge. That tells us that the length is correct, that the diameter is correct, that the sizing went off without a hitch. Now we know that our cases and our completed cartridges are able to feed and chamber reliably. At this point, it's just a process of rinse and repeat. We have successfully completed the first step in reloading our pistol ammunition. To learn about the entire pistol reloading process, go to frankfortarsenal.com/arsenal.